So the pass is really old, man. Like if you just learned it last week, you're late to the game. Uh, People on Instagram been doing it for at least 7 years. You know, you just hashtag magic, and you can see all the great stuff out there. Or you could go on YouTube and hit, exposure, and you could learn it for free. But I think the pass has been around pretty much as long as cards have been around. I think once people realize you can shuffle cards around, they found a way to cut them secretly, because that's what a pass is. That's what all shifts are. They're a way to move packets around secretly. I know I first learned the pass from a guy named Gary, who used to go to the magic shop that I used to go to, and he taught me pretty much the Kaufman pass when I first started, and then I got the Kaufman DVD or VHS, and then went from there. But there's many sources for different shifts, Erdnase and Royal Road, and just everywhere. Everybody has a pass, everybody has a shift. And I'm not saying that this is my perfect technique, it's just the way I do it. So, don't be scared to go and look stuff up and come up with your own handling for things. But, if I sit here and try to tell you every bit of history, that'll be the whole project. So, when it comes to sleight of hand, I think a lot of people are on this mission to do natural actions, as if natural is the way to be. Realistically, in magic, there is no such thing as natural. I challenge you, take a deck of cards, go out in the street, and ask 20 people to turn over one card from the deck, and you'll see 20 different ways to do it. Because it's all about how you learn. So there's no natural. The thing that I've realized in doing magic is that the more comfortable you are, that's what people consider natural. It's about how comfortable you are in doing an action, not how natural it is. What's a natural shuffle? There's a reason why this is called the Hindu shuffle, and it's nothing racist. It's just, a lot of people in that part of the world shuffle like that. It's just what they do. So when you're thinking about sleight of hand, you need to think about, one, what movements do you need to do or change or kind of, shift around to create a action that you are comfortable doing. That's so much more important than being natural, which again doesn't exist. So, we're talking about the pass. So with the pass, to me, the actual technique behind it has more to do with how your body works than a technique that should be figured out. When you read the original writings of the pass, it's this perpendicular to the floor, and then you have to grip here and do all these weird actions. And just by switching some of those things around and moving them around, you really start to see that it's much more comfortable to do it in a way that your body will naturally flow. It's not a natural action, but your body does have natural ways of moving. Your thumb can only go so far in one direction, but you can use things like that. So whatever it is, and with any sleight you do, the goal should be to forget that you are doing sleight of hand. Guy that I became very good friends with, Gabby Perez, he talks about sleight of hand and technique and magic as this glass filled with water, and inside of that glass filled with water is a crystal that you can't see. That crystal represents the method. When you're looking at it, when it's all together, you can never see the crystal because it's perfectly see-through. But it's there. No one else does. So think about that type of analogy. Double lifts, I see people try to make the spectacle out of it, and controls, they want to almost dare you to catch them, which I don't understand the buildup of the challenge. Why would you want people to challenge you in something that they're supposed to be experiencing with you? So take all of your sleights. I mean, to this day, I still practice the double lift. It's one of the things I practice the most. Take all of your sleights, pick them apart. Think about why things are uncomfortable, or why things don't work, or why things are inconsistent, or why you look strange doing it. When you look in the mirror, you know something is wrong. Don't settle for what people say, oh, it's good, because you just happen to be better than them. Being better than somebody else does not make you good. It just makes you better than that person. Look around, try to meet other magicians, and you'll quickly see that there's a big disparity between people in a lot of different areas, and we need to use that to grow and be honest with ourselves, which is very important too. So, sleight of hand can be a beautiful thing when it's used properly. Sleight of hand can be a terrible thing when it's overused and done improperly. And a lot of times I see people using it too much and improperly. They think around technique, they think around methods to create effects that end up becoming confusing and frankly non-existent. They're non-existent effects. They just think if they do things in a certain order, that's an effect, or that's a magic trick, or whatever they want to call it, and it's not. There's so much more to sleight of hand and magic in general than what any of us know, but we just have to be open to that. We have to be open to the fact that we don't know for sure, but we also have to be open to the fact that a lot of us aren't even close. So practice harder than you ever have in your life with everything you do. Work harder every time you practice, and take every mistake as an experience to get better at the things that you messed up on. Don't look at it as the audience is bad, or the cards are new, or any of those excuses. They're completely irrelevant. It's you that's bringing this to people, so you should be bringing the best, and you should be better than you were the day before, or else what's the point? So, a little out there with, it's not just sleight of hand. It's really about being a better person. And sleight of hand is just a reflection of that. For me it is anyway, because of how much I care about it. So, yeah, work hard and be better than you were before. I think that's the only thing I could say about sleight of hand and technique and performance in general. They're all tied together. One isn't more important than the other. So, that's it. All right, so we're first going to start talking about the Classic Pass. It's the one that you get judged on the most. So if you want to get up in the rankings, this is the move you have to do. There's competitions every other week. You just walk into a magic club, shows somebody, and then they rank you. So we'll go through the handling of the Classic Pass first. Actually, there's another Classic Pass out there. It's actually really good, but you have to turn on the sound. Okay. I think you did that by now. So, the Classic Pass starts like anything else, most things in Magic. It starts with a break. So, you have to have a break on cards. Now, there's different ways to get a break, but eventually you have to get to that point. So, usually after a selection or after a peak or something like that, you end up getting a break on the card. And we'll do that. So you square up and you're going to hold your break. Now, the actions of this pass are not too different from probably what you know already. Essentially what's going to happen is this packet is going to pivot out, come down, back, and then underneath the packet again. What's different with mine than some other passes is that I really don't use my top hand. If you've ever seen people do the Classic Pass, the tell is the hand seizure. The minute they do the pass, there's this big ghastly movement, and then there's a loud riffle or dribble or something stupid that you don't need. So with that understanding, I'm going to break down each of the movements, and then we'll put it all together. So the first thing is the break. and then the hand position. Traditionally, passes were done with this kind of curled finger, and then you would wedge your pinky into there, and this finger would go underneath, and then you'd rip it around, and it's not necessary. But instead, what you're going to do is hold a light break with your pinky, pull down with your ring finger until you're ready to get into the position. And to get into the position, you're just going to push up with the ring finger and open that up. Your hand that's not holding the cards in this mechanic type grip is going to come across with the index fingers and middle finger and hold it by the edge. And essentially what you're doing is you're making a BS Erdnase break almost. It's not real, it's just something like it. Right? You're gonna do that. So from this side, you're already eliminating one problem of the pass, and that is this big dovetail type break that is usually in the back of most passes. And now you're bringing it to this nice soft edge here, which is a little easier to look at. And it flies by a little bit better. Once you're here, this is going to be kind of hard to show, but you're not even the pinky, it's more like right by the knuckle of the pinky is going to go on the edge of this packet here, like that. And then the index finger is going to straddle that packet. So when you push down with the ring finger and you push in with the index finger, you're actually holding that packet in a straddle. It's not a traditional straddle that's like this, it's a pinching type straddle. I think I just invented that. Pinching straddle. It's 2 for 2. So that's your beginning position. Now comes movement. The movement is where this all starts. Most passes are taught to slide out, underneath, down, and then underneath. And that is really a lot of movement for a packet to do secretly on flat planes. I know Daniel Garcia came up with or published something called a flat pass that I think is pretty much that, but he does it well. But this isn't that at all. I kind of got this idea from Akira Fuji, essentially, because he has a pretty good pass, and I like it. I don't like everything about it, but I like this. His thinking was when you're holding the pack like this, the only part that has to move fast is the part that's visible. So from here, if I do that, I'm pretty much done already. You know, it's not a big action. Just getting this packet from there to there, and I'm halfway done. So that's what you're going to do first, and to do that, you're going to rock out. So from this position, your hand, the pinky side, is going to rock forward while you're holding this grip. It's kind of hard to show it in this weird way, but I'll do my best. So from here, your hand is going to dip out, and your pinky is going to rock out like that. So just naturally kind of rocking forward. Now, mind you, the index finger hasn't moved yet. It's not going to move at all at this point. It's just going to kind of stay there in that position like that. Okay? So that's the first step. The second step is going to be taking this index finger and rolling it around the edge of the deck. If you can see inside my fingers, you can see that I'm right by the edge of the pack. So if I just roll this around, it comes out and down, right? So that's step, I guess, 3 at this point. Pinky comes out, index finger rolls around, comes back, and now you're going to bring this packet underneath. I know it's a lot, and I know it's kind of fast, but there's not a lot of room for this to happen, so it kind of needs to happen sort of fast. So once you get to here, pivot out, index finger rocks around. You should be somewhere right about here by this point. Secret hand position. But this is really where you need to be. From here, instead of the top hand pivoting this packet up, you're going to relax your my left hand in this case, but the hand that's been holding the packet. So you just drop it, and that automatically pivots this packet up. And once you let everything relax, everything comes together. So really this pass is more about relaxation than it is about tension, because I'm not forcing the card out, forcing it back, and then putting it underneath. I'm kind of just letting my hand fall the way it should fall, which weird way of thinking. I remember when I first learned it, it was very much about ripping one packet through the other, And it showed because I had the loudest pass in the northeast quadrant of this galaxy. But once you understand that, the pass just kind of flows around. And with that, you start to understand that you don't need certain things like riffles or jiggles or cascades or anything like that. So just take those steps slow. I'm gonna try to do it with an open hand here. This is gonna be weird. So you pivot out, index finger rolls around, comes underneath, hand relaxes, dips down, pivots this packet up, and then the hand just coalesces the packet together. All in one action. So that's it. Okay? So now that you got that, I'm going to explain to you some of the things that you may have seen from other people's passes and why I think it's crap, to be honest. Here we go. You tell me how good this pass is. I don't know how good it looks on camera, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Even if you don't see me doing the pass, you know I'm doing something. And that's a problem. The reason why this move came about was because people needed to cover two angles at once. They needed to cover a bad angle in the beginning, which was here, and a bad angle at the end, which is there. So they started rocking their hand. What they didn't realize was they were still telling people they're doing a move, which is just as bad as letting them see you do a move. So with the way I do the pass, it's not supposed to be burnable. The whole burnable pass idea is not real. You have no cover and you're moving half a block of cards around another block of cards. There's going to be something. The point of the pass is to not be perceptible, not burnable, but not perceptible. So when I show people the pass, I have them look at this area of my chest if they really want to test me. I say, let me know when you feel me do the pass. And usually nothing happens because they don't feel it, because it's not that. It's more than just the action. It's the things that go around it. But anybody who says that they have a burnable pass is a liar. Period. You're going to see something. So that's why I have that dead hand technique. So the classic pass is the pass that everybody goes to as like the control to learn and the control to master. But over the last bunch of years, I've really looked at the cover pass, and I've realized that it actually puts you in a better position a lot of times. One, because it's more covered. Two, because if you really need to show the card, you can do a double lift or a top change or a second deal and get the same outcome. So with more cover, you can do different things. The cover pass, I've seen a lot of people do different types where they have to try to keep up with the same speed as the classic pass, and there's absolutely no need. The cover pass to me is more about rising to your fingers than it is about dropping a packet out, which sounds very strange. But in essence, what's going to happen is exactly that. So once you get your break, I'm not going to go too much into detail. I'm just going to cover the main points and then we'll go deeper in a little later. Once you get your break, you're going to kick out the packet underneath the top card and hold back a card with your thumb at the same time. Your hand's going to come over, and then from here you're going to straddle grip this packet out and then lift everything to the fingertips and replace the packet. Now, one thing to keep in mind that I've noticed with a lot of cover passes and even classic passes is the replacement gets forgotten. Once you do this, if I just squeeze this in, you'll kind of see a packet appear. But if I stroke the packet like a lady, you don't feel that action as much. You don't feel the packet being replaced. So, it's not as much about speed as it is about control. Once you square, you kick that packet out with the pinky. You're going to grab lift up to the fingertips. This packet comes up to meet it, stops short, and then squares everything together, and you have your cover pass. Angles and things like that come a little bit later, but right now it's all about the motion of the hands and condensing these actions together to make them cohesive. Big word. Cover pass does leave you in a position with a card on top because that's your cover, which is okay. It's good for a lot of things, in my opinion. It's bad for other things, but for the most part, I think you need to forego the idea of you have to do it one way and be open to having some fun with different actions. So that's the quick touch on the cover pass. We'll go more into detail on that right now. So now we've covered the classic pass, we could talk about the cover pass. And the cover pass is as close to the classic pass as a bottom palm. It's not close at all. It's actually completely different. The only thing that's similar with it is the replacement of the packet and how you get into the position to do the pass. Everything else is completely different. So, same idea. We're going to start with a, oh, that's a bad card. We'll start with this one. Okay, card face up. Okay, and you're going to come in and hold a break. As you hold the break, though, this is where it's going to change. You have to kick this packet out, keep the top card still, and keep the top card from buckling, which is a very big weakness of the classic pass, at the same time that you're bringing your hand to grab the deck. So there's literally 4 or 5 things happening at once, but they're all crucial to making this work. So once you have your break with your pinky, your hand's gonna come over, and instead of lifting with your ring finger, now you're going to kick out with your pinky like that. Now I don't know if you could see that well, but I've literally kicked the packet over a full row on this 10 of spades. Okay, so it's literally all the way over. Now if I just do that, of course I'm just kicking over a packet. What I'm going to do is keep my thumb on the top card, and that will keep the card in position and it'll pop up. Now to keep this pop-up from being obvious, I'm going to tilt my hand down so that this card stays in almost the same position as I kick that packet out like that, right? And all of that is going to happen as I put my hand into that position like I did with the classic pass. Index finger, middle finger, and thumb on the edge like that. Now if you notice, my thumb is now holding this top card. If I let go, you see it kind of buckles, right? That buckling is what gives away the cover pass for a lot of people. So you're going to keep your thumb on that card. While you're in this position now, if you've noticed, I've extended my fingers and I'm pretty much holding this packet in a straddle, right? So all I'm going to do is lift the bottom packet and the top card up, leaving the center packet to fall out of its place like this, okay? So you're here, square, you're gonna bring your hand over, tilt, catch a break, lift this packet up, and then this packet's gonna come up to meet it, and then you're gonna bring it all together. So that's the motion of the cover pass, okay? So we'll do it again, and now we'll start to touch on the minor details beyond the minor details I've told you. So you're here, you have a break, you're gonna square up, talk for a second, what have you. You're gonna reach over with your hand, kick that packet out, lift that card up, pivot, straddle, lift the pack, bring it up, and now here's the crucial part. Now this is also important for the classic pass, but you're going to, if you see, the packets aren't aligned. It's actually in some. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wipe my thumb down, and as I wipe my thumb down, I'm gonna push this packet in. And what that does is it softens the replacement so you don't feel it as much, because that's really important with sleights, the lack of feeling, right? So here, square, kick over, lift the packet up, align, see it's not square, bring the thumb over, wipe, and replace, and you've done the cover pass. Some other things to think about is the position your hands are in when you're starting. So this is a very gravity intensive pass. This has nothing to do with forcing cards to fall in and out of places or what have you. So when you start this pass, come here, relax for a second, talk, bring your hands together, and if you notice, my hand's already down. You bring your hand up, and I'm here. I'm not here, I'm not doing this contrived action, it's stupid. Just let your hand drop naturally and let the packet fall out naturally. You don't have to force anything. The more you force, the more obvious the move becomes. And what you want this move to be like is almost like you're bringing the cards up to look at the edge for some reason. Like, you know, I don't know, maybe there's a dirty card. So come here, square up, bring this packet up to the edge, square, and you're done. You don't have to do any more. You don't have to dribble cards. You don't have to do anything. That's the cover pass. You want it to be as relaxed as possible, and you want it to be in a moment where you have to do something else aside from just playing with the cards. If you're just doing this, then you have some kind of attention deficit disorder and don't do magic. You know, it's Adderall or something. I don't know what drugs they take. Maybe Adderall. But play with that, and now we're gonna talk a little bit about the context of doing the actions of the cover pass and classic pass in action instead of just showing you the moves. So I hope you get a better understanding of what the technique around the pass is. But before you take another step, I want you to understand that this should not be the only control that you use. This is a tool, first and foremost. It's a tool that is grossly overused, such as the Elmsley count or the ghost count, double undercuts, certain controls, they're just overused. You have to look at this as a tool to be used at the right time. I know craftsmen who have this weird tool that'll cut an angle in a block of wood, but the blade doesn't have to be cleared. Like it could just go in and do what it needs to do. And they'll use it once in every 5 years, but when they need it, it's there. And that's what this is. This is a tool that you shouldn't use all the time, but when you need it, it's there, and you should be able to use that tool to its maximum potential. So when it comes to things like the pass, you have to understand what the pass does. The pass, realistically, is one of the worst ways to control one card to the top of the deck. You're literally moving a pack around one card to get it there. Why even bother doing that? There's other controls that do the same thing, so why are you choosing to use this pass? Are you trying to keep a cyclical stack? Are you trying to put things in a certain position? Are you getting ready for a different move that the pass helps you get into? These are the questions you need to think about before you do the pass. Before you say, I'm gonna throw a pass into this trick. It could be used for that. It could be used as a one-card control too. It's not always a bad thing to do. But in context, considering what the pass is, it has a lot of flaws. And that's one of them. You know, I think the best control, if you think about it, to control one card is things like the cherry control, the side steal, the cascade control. Because there you're shifting one card around the pack instead of the pack around that one card, right? The cover pass has other moments where you need to control a card under another card or move it secretly to a certain position, which you can actually do. You don't just have to do it under one card. You can use it as a slip cut. Strangely, I don't think many people think about using a cover pass as a slip cut. But the times that you use this move need to be the time that they need to be used. Don't just do a move to do it. If you don't have to do a move, then frankly, don't do a move. Don't add one in because you think it makes it look better. It usually doesn't. Less is more, quality is key. So I hope that helps you think a little bit more about the menagerie of magic. So that's it. By this point, you are best at the pass. You're better than me. So don't fool yourself. It took me a long time to get proficient at any degree with this move, let alone come up with something that I think is worth sharing. So understand that with this move, you're going to be working at this for years. It's not something that comes easily. It's not something that comes quickly. It's something that comes with experience and time and dedication and really understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, and when you're doing it. So, go over everything that you've learned, not just from me, from other people. Develop your own. I'm not saying this is the end-all be-all, and you should never look at anything you buy as the end-all be-all, ever. It's a way for you to get more information to help develop yourself. So take this information, grow with it, look up other sources. There's stuff in Royal Road to Card Magic. There's stuff in Erdnase. There's On the Pass. I forgot who did On the Pass. Richard Kaufman did on, look at all of those. Even if you don't like them, you may find some touches that may help you. So don't be scared to just look around and create your own. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. This is a big step for me, and I hope it'll be a big step for you too. So thank you guys very much. If you got any questions, you can contact me through our website, lostartmagic.com, or on my Instagram, Xavier Spade. That's it. So I just want to thank you guys, and I want to thank my team. I have a great team, a great group of guys who have really pushed me to do this and really helped me believe in myself a little bit. So thank you to them, thank you to you, and thank you to all the people who have helped me get to this point. Take care.